Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here, friends. Today is going to be one more video on CRISPR Therapeutics. The first part immediately is going to be a little more explanation of the CD117 video that I made yesterday because there is more information I gathered after publishing that video. I want to share that with you. The second part is going to be to look at the long-term chart for CRISPR Therapeutics and game out what could happen in this quarter, and also to find out what is the analyst expectation in terms of EPS and price target for CRISPR Therapeutics, so that we have a more comprehensive view of CRISPR Therapeutics. And that's what this video is going to talk about. So with that said, let's get started. Welcome back, friends. The CD117 video that I made yesterday was comprehensive, and I had a whole lot of information at that time, and I presented them to you. Subsequent to that, I went into the pipeline to have a more detailed look at the description of the CD117 agent. So it seems that the way CRISPR Therapeutics is implementing it right now is having a LNP with the anti-CD117 and gene editing tools, so that it can go target the CD117 specifically on the HSC and latch onto it and release the gene editing payload into it, so that the genetic modifications can be done to provide functional cure for sickle cell disease. So that's how they are looking at it. But what I have said in the previous video, I think is still logical, and that we could just have a HSC, and instead of the gene editing tools, we could have cytokines, so that the HSC is targeted and specifically cleared out, and you have a myeloablation as a result of that, which prepares the bone marrow for regrafting with modified stem cells or donor stem cells, which would correct a particular problem that the patient may be having. So this is how I visualized it. Now, subsequent to that, I have more information. I have found that there is at least one initiative going on with anti-CD117 agent using a bispecific. Bispecific is a synthetic construct where one end is a receptor targeting antigen, and on the other end you have some kind of antigen which attracts a T cell or some other kind of cell. So that's what you have in bispecifics at a very high level. So there's an effort going on in that direction. There's also been a CAR-T effort where a CAR-T which was designed to target CD117 antigen was created, but it seemed to have a problem with cytokine overload. So that's what I have read so far. So I'm going to read this a little bit further, but right now it seems that the LNP approach seems to be the most viable, and CRISPR Therapeutics seems to be on the right track. I'm reaching out to some academics who have helped the channel in the past to understand the CD117 issue in full detail and validate our ideas. So once that happens, we'll have an interview on the channel. If it doesn't happen, then I'll still continue looking for more information about all the other possibilities for CD117. So whatever I said in the previous video still stands. This is just some extra information that I have. And if any of our audience is into gene editing and are professionals in that area, I would welcome them to collaborate by putting some information in the comment section, so that I can look at the right areas to get more information and get clarity on this issue. And with that said, I want to move over to the price chart. I'm looking at the price chart here for CRISPR Therapeutics, and you can see that we have been on a bear channel for a long time, and this bear channel, in my opinion, is a tapering bear channel. So that's why we have it in a narrowing cone kind of a situation out here. We have a resistance out here that we have not been able to break. It is at 44.58. We closed at 43.42 yesterday. We have had brief spikes above it, but we have generally been pushed down. We also have a support at 42.84. MACD is bullish. Momentum is above average, but there has been a drop in the momentum. And we have earnings coming out on 18th February 2025. Now, if we were to move out and look in the larger context, you will see that we have been this low in the past, somewhere around March of 2020. That's almost 2 years ago. So we have come to a low point, I think, in case of CRISPR Therapeutics, because in 2020 we did not have the Casgevy monetized. We didn't have payments coming from Casgevy. Right now we are having the payments coming in from Casgevy as well, and CRISPR continues to have good cash balance. And it has got some really good collaborations and nice candidates in the pipeline which are doing very well. And of course, I spoke about CD117. They have their allogenic CAR T therapies for cancers targeting CD19. And those kind of CAR Ts which are autologous and approved right now have been blockbuster drugs. Of course, they have had a black label warning from FDA. So I'm hopeful that these allogenic CAR T candidates, as they proceed further in the clinical trial pipeline successfully, will see more value addition to CRISPR Therapeutics itself. So I'm thinking that this is as low as CRISPR could go in 2025, and we are only going to move upwards going forward from here, or maybe consolidate on the sidewards until maybe end of March, and then start moving upwards again. That's what I'm hoping based on these trends that I'm seeing here. Let me go into a monthly calendar. This is my monthly calendar out here, and you can see that we had a bear channel going on first. Let me mark that out for you here. If you look at the monthly chart, we had a bear channel going on at first, then we consolidated, broke out of the bear channel, and then we created a new bear channel. We created new higher highs, and then we started going down. And right now we are out here. Our lowest point has been at around 38.68 in the near past. And I think that 38.68 is going to be a really good support for CRISPR Therapeutics. And it can only go up from here. That is my opinion. And it's based on a bunch of assumptions. The first one is that Casgevy revenues are coming in and they are going to continue to grow. And as a result of which the value of CRISPR Therapeutics is going to go up. We didn't have Casgevy revenue in 2020. And still we had a price which was as low as what we are right now. So I think that we are going to be in a much better position. We are just consolidating. So this is one aspect. The other aspect is the rich pipeline with really good candidates. The third one is the CD117 prospects to become a myoablation agent, and also to come up with the next generation of sickle cell disease and TDT therapy, which can be open to much wider population in terms of age and health ability to get a bone marrow transplant. So those are all the things that I'm putting together to say that the trend is upwards. I'm not able to quantify what will be the price for CRISPR Therapeutics, but I'm thinking that the possibilities of CRISPR Therapeutics going up from here is much higher than the possibilities of it creating new lower lows and racing towards something like 27.79, which could be the next support once the current support gives way. So I think we have support at 38.68, and then I think we will have support at 27.79. I am not seeing the possibility of CRISPR Therapeutics falling so low. So that's my feedback based on what I see in this chart. Now we can also look at it in a different manner, and let me put a head and shoulder pattern out here. Head and shoulder pattern is very bearish. So if we were to assume this to be the head and shoulder pattern, then we are looking at a significant drop in the share price for CRISPR Therapeutics. You know how we do the price target price estimation. I would be drawing a line from the tallest point out here to the neck of the head and shoulder and project that downwards. Then it can take us to an all-time low of around 13.87. I think the possibilities of that happening is very less because of all the progress that CRISPR Therapeutics has made so far. Now I want to take you into a website called MarketBeat, where I go generally to have a look at consensus price target. So we have a bunch of analysts, I think around 19 analysts analyzing CRISPR Therapeutics, and their average consensus rating is to hold this share. So they are neither bullish nor bearish. Their consensus price target happens to be 78.38 with a high of 105, a low of 48, and an average of 78.38. Right now, CRISPR Therapeutics is at $43. Even with the low estimate, there is still $5 worth of upside. Again, that's the reason why I think in the short term, we should be able to see CRISPR Therapeutics moving up a little bit. Now that said, we look at the earnings. Now the earnings, there is this chart here which talks about actual and forecast. The last EPS we had showed minus 1.01, which was slightly better by 0.41 as compared to the loss they were expecting of 1.42. So the loss was there, but it was 41 cents less than what was estimated by the analysts. So from that point of view, it was a better performance. Now moving forward to the next EPS, which is due with the next earnings, The expectation is a loss of minus 1.13, and we'll have to see how it is going to pan out. Let me show you the earnings out here. And according to our TradingView platform, the earnings estimate is 1.20 and revenue estimate is 8.02 million. Whereas out here, the earnings estimate is minus 1.13. And I think that there could be a little bit of variation here and there, but I tend to prefer market beat, and their estimates, I think we have to look for 1.13 EPS. If we come below that, then I think there could be a hit on CRISPR share price. But if we come above that, then there could be a disproportionate gain for CRISPR because it's been pushed down quite a bit. The next area I want to look at is the insider sales. In 2024, there was $2.74 million worth of shares sold by insiders and zero buys. And if you look at the history of CRISPR Therapeutics, mostly it has been sales but no purchases. I wouldn't read too much into this because part of the executive compensation is stock options, and they need to sell it from time to time to raise money for their own expenses. So I would chalk it up to that, but overall it's not looking so bad. In Q1 of 2024, 9.2 million was sold. Q3, there was no sales at all. And Q4 saw another 2.74 million being sold. There are needs for all the people who are getting stock options. They are the insiders basically. So I wouldn't chalk up too much to it. Next, let us look at shorts interest. If you see the shorts interest out here, the shorts interest have been dropping since Q4. And the last quarter, if you can see out here, November 30th shows a drop, December 15th shows a drop, and December 31 shows a drop. So every 15 days there has been a drop in short interest, and the change versus previous month is that the short interest has gone up 5.41%. So on one end, we can say that the short interest has gone up a little bit, but the recent trends seems to show that the short interest is going down. So I think that there is mixed reactions throughout. Next, let us look at how the ownership pattern has changed. Current institutional ownership is 69.2%. So as long as so many institutional holders are holding this share, I think there is no reason to fear about this. So it's looking pretty good out there. And if you look at the chart out here where the green bar shows total inflows and the red bar shows total outflows, if you see throughout the history of CRISPR Therapeutics, there has been mostly more inflows rather than outflows. The only time I think when the outflows were more than inflows was in Q3 of 2022 and Q4 of 2024. After that, it has always been net inflow. So that's again another positive that I see out here. And now I'm back on this chart to make my final points. If I look at a weekly time frame and each of these candles being a weekly candle, I think that our main resistance is going to be 44.58. And if we are able to crack through 44.58, I think we should be doing pretty well. So let's look forward to the earnings, and I would like to hear from the community as well. Please share all the information that you have regarding CRISPR Therapeutics so that we can put a much closer focus on this share and continue to improve our understanding of how the price action will be in the short term and in the long term, and that will be helpful for many people in the channel. With that, my friends, I'd like to bring this video to an end. Thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.